Hi everybody, welcome again to ZCodeSystem. Here we develop automated systems to help you win, and we're going to get started here. Before we get started with MLB Picks for June 9th, I want to invite you to join. You'll have access to the ZCode VIP Club section. You can see all these tabs across the top here. They all have certain things that will help you make your picks. Okay, so we're about 40% of the way through the Major League Baseball season. Time is just flying by. We got some good games for Monday, June the 9th, and we're going to take a look at 4 of those. So let's get started. The first game we want to take a look at, on a relatively full slate of games, not a complete schedule, but pretty full schedule of games for Monday. It's the Chicago Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies come in second in the National League East, and the Cubs are first in the National League Central. You see the Phillies struggling lately, dead status, losers of 5 out of their last 6, while the Cubs are average up, winners of 4 out of their last 6. If you look at the over-under streak, the teams are trending in games on opposite sides of the line. You see the Phillies 2 out of the last 3 have been over, and the Cubs 2 out of the last 3 games have been under the line. The score prediction, which has changed since just a little bit earlier when I looked at this, 11-3 in favor of the Cubs. Confidence in the prediction is up at 66%. We're going to take a look at a couple other things here. On the power ranks indicator, the Phillies down at the bottom here at 0 because of their recent poor play, and the Cubs are up and down. You see they were at plus 28 back on June the 4th. They dipped, and now they're back up to plus 19. If we look at the head-to-head matchup, the teams met earlier in the season, 3 games in Chicago. Phillies won 2 out of those 3. 2 of the games were low scoring, a total of 4 runs. Each the middle game was a 14-run game. Let's take a look at a couple other things here. The records are 19-12 both for home and road record. Philadelphia's 19-12 at home. The Cubs are excellent on the road at 19-12. We have see a couple other things. The Cubs have the top scoring differential in baseball at plus 106 versus plus 18 for the Phillies. That's a big advantage right there. Let's take a look at the stability factor. Both teams pretty consistent regarding their favored underdog status. The Cubs more so at plus 23. Phillies at plus 13. If the Phillies were playing good ball, they're at their peak of their game right now. I would pick the Phillies at home, but they are not. They're struggling. So I think this is going to be a Cubs win. But I'm going to pass on the over/under bet. Tampa Bay and Boston. This is an AL East battle. Tampa Bay comes in burning hot, winners of 4 out of the last 6, while Boston is average, coming off of a 2-game losing streak with a win over the Angels. You see this 11-9 back on June the 4th. The score prediction is for Tampa Bay 7-3. Confidence in the prediction is at 55%. Again, this has also changed just recently when I looked at this. So this changes quite a bit. So this is something you want to take an eye on over the next few days until the games are actually being played. The over/under, you can see the teams have been involved in games under the line mostly. 8 out of the last 12 games combined. 2 out of the last 3 for Boston have been over. On the power ranks indicator, Boston is up at plus 10 right now. Tampa Bay is on a steady incline from June the 3rd from 16 now up to plus 27. Take a look at a couple other things. The scoring differential edge is in favor of Tampa Bay, plus 47 to plus 13. And if we take a look at the head-to-head matchup, you can see here April 14th through the 16th, it was Boston winning 2 out of the 3 in Tampa Bay. The one game that Tampa Bay did win, it put up a 16 spot and a 16-1 blowout win. Volatility oscillator. The consistency factor is one thing in favor of Tampa Bay, but even they are not as consistent as they were. If you look at this earlier in the season, back on April of the 11th, Tampa Bay was at plus 9. They dipped. In fact, they dipped down into the negative, and now they're back up to plus 5. And Boston has been pretty inconsistent all year there at minus 1. Scoring differential edge, plus 47 to plus 13. And so pretty much I'm looking at the Rays winning at home, but I'm going to pass on the over/under in this one. I'm going to take a look at Atlanta and Milwaukee. Here's a game where a matchup Atlanta has been really struggling. Take a look at them. They are dead status, 1-5 over the last 6. They are 4th in the National League East. And the Brewers are burning hot. So you see teams heading in opposite directions. The Brewers 5-1 over the last 6. They are 3rd in the NL Central after a slow start. The over-under streak has been pretty much even for both teams. You can see both over in the last game, but generally trending under the line. And the score prediction of 6-2 would probably be an under the line score. We do not have the totals yet, but that's generally going to be an under the line score. Confidence in the predictions at 72%. Power ranks, not surprised with Atlanta being down at the bottom as poorly as they've been playing, and Milwaukee on an upward trend after a steep downward descent for one day. They're back up to plus 21. Consistency factor with regard to their favored underdog status, it is Milwaukee, much more consistent, straight lately after being up to plus 17. They're now plus 15. And you see the Braves are all over the place on this. They were up to plus 8, and they've been up and down since, and they're now sitting at plus 4. Milwaukee has a slight edge in the scoring differential, plus 25 to plus 6. The Brewers won 5 out of 7 games between the teams last year. I'm looking at the combination of the recent trends and the Braves' very poor road record of 10-20 for this season, and I'm going to lean towards the Brewers in this one in a game over the line. And the last game we're going to look at is the Dodgers and the Padres. This is actually the game of the day. Top two teams in the National League West battle. Neither team is playing particularly well lately, both 3-3 over the last 6, with the Dodgers average and the Padres average down. The Dodgers in the score prediction for 8-4 win. Confidence is still rather low, though, at less than the toss of a coin at 48%. Head-to-head wise, the two teams have not yet met this season. On the Power Ranks indicator, the Dodgers have a slight edge of plus 18 to plus 13. If we look at the scoring differential, just as a big advantage here for the Dodgers, plus 76, plus 16. But the Padres have their side edge in the home versus road record, home record 20-10. Although the Dodgers are very, very solid, 15-14 on the road. Interesting thing about the volatility oscillators that both teams are at plus 11, and if you look at the trends, they're very, very similar throughout the whole season. Of course, they don't completely mirror or image themselves, but if you look at here from like May the 12th on, it's almost identical. Both teams sitting at plus 11. So in the end here, I think this is going to be the Padres, because they're playing at home. I favor them. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Padres by 1 or 2 runs in a game under the line. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the games for Major League Baseball for June the 9th. Happy betting, and see you again next time.